And welcome back to EDH Deck Building. I am your host, Demo, and I got a card that I got to talk about here. And this has been coming for a while. I've been warning everyone about it, and I think the day is finally here. I think we've gotten to the point where they've gone too far with the white card draw. So let's talk about a card here. It's Archivist of Oghma. 1 and a white, halfling cleric, 2/2, has flash, which makes it even better. Whenever an opponent searches their library, you gain 1 life and you draw a card. This is, in my opinion, one of the best card draw cards in the entire format now. I think, isn't it? I mean, whenever an opponent searches their library, that's like 100 times a game. That's constant, right? If you can get this thing out early, you're going to be drawing cards off it like mad. It is very similar to a first turn Esper Sentinel. If you can get this guy out turn 2, even later in the game, it's great. Players are always searching their libraries, always, whether it be tutors or ramp or many other things. There's lots of searching going on. You can even build around this, where you cast Path to Exiles and stuff and have your opponent. I mean, I don't think I need to explain it. Everyone knows there's lots of searching going on in the format all the time. This is all of your opponents, right? If you cast this on turn 2, there's a pretty good chance that all your opponents search their library over the next few turns, and you're going to draw an absolute ton of cards off of this, and then you're gaining life on top of it. Like, why did they have to put that on there? This is going to be going in every deck. This is going to be going in every deck. This is the new Smothering Tithe. I'm not saying it because it's necessarily as powerful as Smothering Tithe. I'm not saying that because it's, doing the same thing as Smothering Tithe. Clearly it's not. Maybe it's better. I don't know. It's hard to evaluate it entirely until you see it in a game. It was just like with Esper Sentinel. Everyone was like, oh man, this is so good. And I was like, I was a little more leveled about it, I think. And I think I was right, because I think Esper Sentinel is really good. I don't think it's, as good as people thought it was. This is the big thing for me. There's no option here, right? There is no, I can pay 1, I can pay. No, there isn't. Even with Smothering Tithe, you can pay the 2 and they don't get the treasure token. This is whenever, what are they going to do? Not search their library? They're not going to crack that Evolving Wilds? I don't think so, right? And every deck has Evolving Wilds, or, even if you're not actually ramping, like green ramp, land dig, whatever you want to call it, how many decks out there have fetch lands or Evolving Wilds and stuff like that to fix your mana? Right? And that's only becoming more of a thing because people are playing more and more colors. Every 3-color deck is going to have fetch lands or Evolving Wilds or Terramorphic Expanses or whatever. So you're drawing cards. Like, how many card draw do you have to get for this to be worth it? 2? 2 mana to gain 2 life and draw 2 cards? Pretty good, right? And then on top of that, you get a body that's... Everyone is going to be like, how do you not put this in every deck? Again, I think it's going to be like Smothering Tithe, where people are just going to shoehorn it into every deck. I think they screwed up. That's why I'm talking about this card, is this is too far. You've gone too far with the white card draw. Thank you out there, everybody who kept on complaining about how bad white was at drawing cards. And I've been warning people about this for almost a year now. I think it's been about a year since I did my What White Does Best video. And I've been warning everyone about this. I said, this is what happened with green. Okay, what happened with green was it was just okay. You had Shamanic Revelation, a couple of these other cards that just cared about, the number of creatures you had and stuff like that. And green didn't draw cards very good in the format. And then they came out with, very quickly in a row, Rishkar's Expertise, Guardian Project, Great Henge, Return of the Wild Speaker. And then all of a sudden it became the best. Well, I don't know about the best, but certainly right up there when it comes to card draw. No one's complaining about card draw in green, that's for sure. It maybe has gone too far. I think we've gotten there with white. They went completely and ridiculously overboard in Capenna with the white card draw. I think I counted 7 cards, mono white cards in New Capenna that draw cards. 7. It might have even been 8. I think for sure 7. It was a lot. It was ridiculous. And they've already printed a few more in this set. And this one is just like, you don't have to do anything. Again, it just sits there. It not only does it just sit there and draw you cards, but there is no option. It's not like a Ristic Study where your opponents can pay the 1. They don't have an option. Their option is, I don't search my library. And that's not going to happen, right? That's not going to happen at all. Players don't want to wait. This is why they don't pay for Ristic Study. This is why they don't pay for Smothering Tithe, because they don't want to wait. They want to do it right now. This is why Ghostly Prison is actually a really good card in the format, because players don't want to use all their mana to be attacking. They want to use it to do stuff. Same with Esper Sentinel, right? If your opponent plays a turn 1 Esper Sentinel, are they going to go, oh, well, I'm not going to cast my Arcane Signet because I don't have the mana to pay the 1 because it's turn 2. No, they're going to cast their Arcane Signet and let you draw a card, right? Guaranteed. Nobody's going to forego casting their mana rock so that you can not draw a card, right? They're going to do it. They don't care. Same goes here. Nobody's going to forego searching their library. No one is going to I'm not going to crack my Evolving Wilds just yet because I don't want you to draw a card. No, I think they're going to crack it right away. I think nobody's going to care. Everyone's just going to go about their business. They're going to ramp, they're going to search their library, and you're going to draw a ton of cards and to gain life because it wasn't enough. This honestly is a perfect fit in my Patron of the Kitsune deck because that's a life gain deck and I'm getting life gain triggers off of this. And that deck is all about life gain triggers, right? So you look at an Archangel of Thune, for example. I don't care about getting lots of life. I care about getting individual life gain triggers so that my Archangel of Thune will trigger and put counters on all my creatures. This guy's a fantastic fit there because every time my opponents are searching their library, I gain a life. In fact, if this card just said, whenever an opponent searches their library, you gain 1 life, I think it's still a playable card, and I would probably put it in my Patron of the Kitsune deck. In fact, I'm pretty sure I would for sure put this in my Patron of the Kitsune deck if it was just the life gain. I think it would go in a lot of life gain decks, for sure. Drawing a card as well? This is just going to go in every deck, right? If you're not going to put this in your deck, comment below and tell me why. Why are you you have a 5-color deck. You have a 5-color Ur-Dragon deck. Are you going to put this in your deck? Maybe, right? I mean, people play. I guess Smothering Tithe is better in a 5-color deck because it's fixing your mana, right? Which is of course is more important in a 5-color deck. But for sure, all the mono white decks are going to play this. The 2-color decks, the 3-color decks. You're going to find room for this because it is just fantastic card draw. Like I said, all you need is 2 cards off of it and it's paid for itself. For sure, it's paid for itself. Everything after that is just gravy. So they've gone too far. They've gone too far. Right? And we will see. I'll just say right now, I've been warning about this for a while. When we got Esper Sentinel, Welcoming Vampire, and a couple other good ones last year. They went way overboard in New Capenna, in my opinion, and now we have this card as well. And we will just see, okay? By the way, when Smothering Tithe first came out, nobody was complaining about it. Everyone's like, oh, yay, white gets ramp. That's how everyone was reacting, okay? Which is the same that's happening here with all the white card draw. Everyone's like, oh, yay, white gets card draw. It's going to be the same, I promise you, okay? In a couple of months, when all of these awesome, in my opinion, white card draw cards start seeping into the format and they start getting played in all these decks, you're going to see there's not a lot of competition there because there's so much white card draw. And I know everyone says, oh, it's conditional. All card draw is conditional, right? Except for blue. Blue is really the only color that just draws X amount of cards, okay? Every other color, green's card draw is conditional. You need a big creature, or you need lots of creatures, or you need to play creatures. That's conditional, right? If you have a Rishkar's Expertise in your hand and you have a 2/2 creature in play, are you going to cast it? No, that's conditional, right? Black's card draw is conditional too. Show me a black card draw spell that doesn't suck your life away. It all does, I think. I'm trying to think if there's one out there. You have to pay the life. It's conditional. If you don't have the life, you can't use it. Almost all card draw is conditional, okay? So saying that it's conditional is like, who cares, right? If an Esper Sentinel is sitting there in play and it's conditional, oh well, you're still going to draw a ton of cards off of it. This guy as well. Okay, it's conditional, but it's going to sit on the table and you're going to draw a ton of cards off of it. How could you not? I don't know. I guess you could get into the rare situation. Just like with Esper Sentinel, there are times where I played it and just nobody's playing non-creature spells. So I'm not really drawing off of it, or they have the mana so they can pay the 1. I just don't see how you're going to go multiple turns without anyone searching their library. I just don't see it happening. You're going to draw, like I said, 2 cards, you're good. 2 cards, you've gotten your value off of it, right? You think of a Night's Whisper, right? Let's compare. Everyone loves Night's Whisper. I don't think it's a very good card at all. 2 mana. Draw 2 cards, lose 2 life, right? Archivist, if you get 2 cards off of it, is 2 mana, draw 2 cards, gain 2 life, and it's a body on top of that, right? So just as a comparison. And it has flash as well because they had to put that on there. Again, actually does fit in both my mono white decks. It fits in my Sigrid deck, funny enough, because that is sort of a flash. I have a lot of flash creatures in there because my commander has flash. So I did a little bit of a flash sub theme there. And it obviously fits in my Patron the Kitsune deck because it gains life. And so I'm like, oh, great. It fits in both of my decks. But literally every deck is going to be playing it. So I don't know. I think they went too far. I think they have gone too far with white card draw, period. I think that it's too much. I said that in the last set. Now they've just gone overboard. This is for sure overboard. I thought for sure in New Capenna they had gone far enough, maybe too far. Now they definitely have gone too far. You could make, for sure, you could make a really, really good mono white card draw deck now with all the card draw stuff they have. And you'd be just fine. Don't put anything in there that isn't mono white. Mono white no longer needs to use colorless artifact card draw. I took the Endless Atlas out of my Patron the Kitsune deck. I took it out because I don't need it anymore. That's how good white is at card draw now. I don't know. Am I wrong? Tell me how I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments below how I'm wrong. But that is it. End of rant. Thanks for tuning in.